Alright everybody, part 2 of the rundown. Let's get it. And let's look at what happened today. So, starting off with Costco, in this second half, so I'm not going to go over the first half again. Starting off with Costco, Costco pushed up to about 910, which was the previous high, around here. Let's see what that was. This high was 912.22. Alright, so let's get it. We're going to get that one. 912.22. And it wasn't the real high. The real high was 922. You know what? Let's go for the real high. No, because I want to do what we just retested. And we retested at 912.22. Alright, let's give that a 3. Alright, because that's proven to be our resistance area there for sure. Because it couldn't get up through it. Got rejected. Got rejected here, rejected here, rejected here. Just tried to get up through it, couldn't do it, couldn't close above it. And ended up closing below it and went lower. Tried to get up again, couldn't close above it. And ended up closing below it, and now we're going lower. So we're looking for support at the 150, which is at about 870.55. We come down here, retest that, maybe get a little push through and push higher, and retest this 892.51. All right, so 892.51 is our new resistance. And if we look at our 30-50, let's look at a 15-minute chart. We can see not 15 not giving us enough of a clue. Let's try the 30-minute, 30-day, 30-minute. Yeah, so we're bouncing around in this area. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so we know we got resistance at 892, and we know that 912.22 is not letting us go higher. Keep selling off, retesting, try to get through it, can't do it, selling off, retesting. Had a nice pin bar here, but you know, couldn't do anything about it. Tried to go back again, but nothing happened. And then on the 30-minute, the 200-day is just rejecting over here now. It's just rejecting. Okay, so let's go back to our 3 months in a day. Alright, so these are daily bars. And right now we got a push up and a sell off. So the bears are coming in, pushing this down. We know we got resistance here, so if the bears keep pushing, this resistance is going to hold and take us lower. We got the 150-day coming up for support, and we'll see. We got a big, pretty big gap here between the 150 and the 200. That's pretty big, okay. And so we may, the 150 might do its job and push it higher, or it may not, and it may go lower, and the 200 is going to have to come up and save the day. Let's take a look and see how well has it been reacting to the 200 and the 150 in the past 2 years and a day. So the 150, it just didn't even look at it here. It just blew right through the 150. It's right here too, blew right through the 150. So it doesn't even care about the 150. So watch out there. Of course, it hasn't, you know, hadn't come since down here. It hasn't messed with the 200 at all. The 200 has just been doing its thing. The 150's just been getting treated like it didn't even see it at all. But it won't fall enough to retest the 200. They don't want no parts of the 200 to stand away from it. So I wouldn't panic at the 150. I mean, I could try to modify that and see what it looks like, but you can play around with that on your chart. Maybe try like a 175 or a 180 and see what happens. Maybe we might get this to come down and find some support in here, and then you know where to use on Costco. Costco's a word I know a lot of people like to use. A behemoth. Yeah, it's a big company, and they do a lot of cash flow, a lot of cash flows through Costco. So it's a good buy. $800 right now. I wouldn't say that's a good buy, but you know, you can guarantee that if you buy Costco at any price, it's gonna go higher at some point. Okay, so that's it on Costco. I'm looking at some sales signals in my mind. Looks like it wants to retest this 150. If 150 doesn't hold, we'll come back down here and retest this area down here at 793, and that would be just in time for it to come down. What's that? 793. Oops. That would be just in time for it to come down and say hello to the 200 and then go back up. Okay, so that's it on Costco. Be careful in here. I think we might be looking at a sell-off into the new year, and then boom, off to the races again. Next up is CSWC, which is Capital Southwest Company, which is a banking company and are just off the chain in Texas. I know people were struggling to pay their electric bills a few years ago, and that and water and everything else in Texas is going to probably continue to go higher because of the I want to say infrastructure, but that remains to be seen. But anyway, that's just my opinion on Texas. But anyway, this is a company in Texas. They do business development company specializing in credit and private equity and venture capital investments. So basically, it's a bank. They pay a dividend also. Okay, so Capital Southwest is looking pretty good right now. It's got the 20-day acting as support. It's got the 5 SMA acting as support. It's got the 200 acting as support. It's got the 150 that was resistance that's now coming down to start acting as support if it can turn up and head this way. We got the 200-day we need to go up and head this way. And if we can get the 20 and the 5 to continue to curl up and head that way, we know we'll be in a bullish market. Right now, because the 200 is just now coming up and the 150 is below it, it's not technically bullish yet. So look for that to continue straight, and then this to come around and curl under and continue to push the stock higher. Then we'll know we're in a bullish configuration. As you can see, I'm going to buy one share here at $25. And that's just the way I do it. I don't buy a whole lot. I just buy a little bit and watch it grow. Okay, so that's Capital Southwest. Next up is Donald J. Trump. Trump Media and Technology. So believe it or not, I was looking at messing around with this, and we're getting back to retest this area here. I'm going to move this one here, make it a little bigger, keep it on the right, make it a 5, and move it down once I activate it. And I'm going to move it to right here. Okay, we got some resistance, some support in here, and some resistance at the same area. This would be our duplicate this green bar here, and this would be green down here, right? Because that's where we fell and stopped. And then this is going to be, it's going to change its colors because it can't be green anymore because it's not our bottom. It's just another resistance support area. All right, so that's our new resistance support area. Trump Media is pushing up, retesting this 1567 area. If we can get a close above that sometime, and it looks like on the 15-minute chart it pushed up through this area and still above it. didn't pull back. So if we can get a green bar tomorrow and then come back, retest this support area and then go higher, we know we're in a starting to look bullish. But we still have the 150 coming down to act as resistance, and we have the 200 way up here at about $33. That's going to be coming down to act against as resistance. But right now it's starting to look like it wants to push higher again, or at least retest this 20-day. So be careful, because right now we're retesting this 20-day right here. And as you can see right here, it got rejected, sold off, and then the 5 kept it down. And now it's going back up. And then right here it broke above the 5, but it hit that 20 and it got rejected again. And now and then up here it tested that 20 again, got rejected. So now we're back testing this 20 again. So be careful in here. We know we got resistance in this area, so we might get rejected again and keep going lower. So keep an eye on that. And this was pretty difficult because that 5 didn't even have a chance here. It was just like boom, boom, back down. All right, we're going to be resistance. You're no longer being support. But right here, you got a nice move for support, though. You got what's that? 5 green bars, 5 green daily bars, pushing higher. So, it might want to hit that, come back, and go higher. Put in a nice little W. Boom, and take off. So keep an eye on DJ Trump, or DJT. I'm sorry, Trump Media and Technology, and especially if he becomes president, he might just really take off. So anyhow, next up is DKL, delete. You know what? You guys look it up and figure it out for yourself. I think it's Delake Logistics. It's BELEK, however you pronounce that. So we got the 200 coming down, we got the 150 coming up, and we got the 20 acting as support in this area. You got the 5 SMA that has been acting as a support and a resistance. What we're looking for is this 150 to cross over the 200, and the 200 to start going higher, and this 20 to continue to go direction it's heading, and the 5 SMA to head that way also. And then we know we're in a uptrend and we're bullish, and we should continue higher. Right now it's looking like it's it wants to go bullish, but of course it's not really getting the volume that it needs. Okay, so careful with DELEK Logistics. Okay, it wants to go higher, but it just might not have the juice. Next up is DKS, Dick's Sporting Goods, which has actually, got to show you guys this. Been watching Dick's for a while and it's just been making me nuts. Look at this thing. It just gapped this huge gap down right here. This window opened up, just giant window, and then it went up and closed it, right? And then just continued to go higher. Then it gapped up way up here, came back down, closed that window, then gapped up again, and then came back and closed that window. Then it came up here, gapped again, and then came back, gapped down to close that window. Then it popped up, and now it's like it's going into a downtrend. This stock has been just I don't know what to call it. It's just been a wonder to watch how it moved. I didn't know what to do with it. I just wasn't sure how it was going to move. It was just so sporadic. But here it is at $239, and I've watched it come all the way up from $100. So at least if I had bought one share, I'd be $100 richer. But it is what it is. So let's talk about it. Right now, it looks like it wants to sell off. Wants to come back and retest this 200. It's got these small windows that I don't know, that they're maybe too minuscule to even worry about. It's because it's definitely closing these bigger windows. So I don't really think they're a concern. Close that window. So I think right now we just need to focus in on the, the time of the year and the selling nature, the nature of why it's selling. And I just think that because we're getting into the holiday season, and I think Dick's they pay a dividend also. And usually a big dividend pays out in December. Okay, so we got the 200 coming up to act as support. We got overhead resistance with the 20, the 150, and the 5 SMAs. So we're definitely selling off. Right, so we're going to come back and maybe retest this 200 day here. We got this support area in here. That may help a little bit. Let's see how much we widen that out. 6 months. Yeah, not much of a support area, but it could be considered some support. Let's get that out of there. We're not going to think about that as support. Let's see if we can find something else that might give us some support. I don't like that one. Go out a year. And we got our gap up right here. That's usually a good sign. So we'll take that one here. We'll put our support there. See what happens. See if it proves to be a good support area. If this does decide to want to sell off and come back down here at 183.68. Meanwhile, we got the 200 coming up to act as support. So let's see what happens. And right now, Dick looks like it wants to sell off, so I would be careful. If I would buy a share, it would be, maybe a share here, and then a share down here, and then a share down here. But I wouldn't buy, too many shares at this point. Down here, yeah. Up here, nah. Let's wait and see what happens. Don't catch the falling knife, but buy the pullbacks at your support areas. This is not I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold anything. I'm just saying if I was to buy something, it would be down here around the support area, not up in here, and not even around here at the 200, thinking I might miss out on something. I'd rather wait for it to come down here and get me at a price that I feel good about. Okay. All right, that's it on Dick's. What's up next? ERBB is American Green, which is a weed stock that I have been watching forever. Ever since I started trading in the stock market 10 years ago, or however long ago, or forever ago. And so I'm still holding some of that stock, and I got lots of shares of it, and I'm hoping that someday it's going to make me rich, and that remains to be seen. Next up, let me see if I can give us some, instead of just running from it, because it's been a long time since I've been 11 on it, and we got one of those weird relationships. Yeah, so anyhow, it's at 0.0004, 003 it hit. It hit 0.0001, I guess, here recently. But right now it's supporting at about 0.004 where the close was today. And we need to retest at 0.007 area, come back up and close above it, and to sort of we're in a bullish move. But right now we're semi bearish because the 200 is overhead and all our moving averages are under. So careful with that one. American Green. Next up is ETN, Eaton. And Eaton has been moving. It's got a nice 200 day pushing up. It's got the 150 that was acting as resistance, now acting as going into a support mode. We got the 200 day pushing up, we got the 20 coming up, and we got a little bit of a sell-off. We ran into some resistance in this area here. What's going on? Error occurred on what? Alright, anyway. What was the last one I looked at? Hope I didn't mess it up. Anywho. Okay, so we got some resistance in this area here. At about $332.43. And we're retesting it right now. And then so we got a moving average coming up. So what we'd like to see this thing jump up through 332, retest, and continue higher. If not, maybe we'll get a failure back to our 20 or our 150 and then come back up and retest. Or if that was on hold, maybe a failure to the 200 and then come back up and retest and then continue higher after that. But right now, we got some serious resistance at 332.43. So if you wake up and it's down lower, then you might want to be careful and wait for the pullback into the moving averages area before you start buying again. That's Eaton, ETN is the ticker. Next up is oh, that's what happened. Put it back in there. ETN. Alright, there we go. Next up is FBTC, which is Bitcoin, Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund. Tried to get above this 55.69 area, couldn't do it, got rejected at about 57.42. 55.69 didn't even hold for a retest. It just broke through it. Looks like we're probably going to go lower on FB Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin, and maybe come back and retest this 46.45 area. But right now, I would be careful with the 150 and the 20. If they don't hold, look for 46.45 as our new retest of the low. If it continues to go higher, retest of 55.69. If 55.69 doesn't hold, then look out below. Alright, next up is Grayscale Bitcoin, which is, as you can see here, starting to roll over and sell off. We got the 200-day acting as resistance. It tried to pop up above it, but then they put in this doji right here and gap down. So now we're starting to sell off again. You got the 5 SMA overhead pushing down on it, and the 150 pointing down, and the 20 coming up. But look out for it to roll over and head down. That's Grayscale Bitcoin. I think we're going to be possibly going to be selling off from there. We got a low volume coming in, so look for the sell-off and the movement down on Grayscale. Next up is GME, GameStop, which is looking kind of bullish right now. Put in a nice retest of the $18 area. Put in a nice green bar there of so 22.75. Let's see, it closed above that. So yeah, we got some support here with the 5 SMA, some support with the 150, and some support with the 20 SMA. Got the 200 underneath acting as support as well. So I'm looking at GameStop and I'm thinking it wants to go higher. So be careful with GameStop. It's another one of those highly manipulated stocks. But right now it looks like it's in a good position to continue higher. So be careful with that. But you know, do what you need to do or what you feel you need to do. Next up is Google. Google had put in an ice cream bar today, found support with the 150 and support with the 5, and we got the 100 and I'm sorry, that's the 5. We got the 150, we got the 20 coming up to curl over to come up with negative support, and we got the 150. So yeah, looking at this chart, I think we're going to continue going higher on that. We need the 20 to curl over and get above the 200, the 150 to curl, and then the 5 just to continue to go higher. We got some resistance in this area right here. We always got to watch out for that. As you can see, we're rejected in the past because of it. That could possibly happen this time around also. So we got up, came down, came up, bounced up, hit that area, sold off. And now it's back up retesting it again. So we might get another sell off and a little bit of a pullback in here and then go higher, or we might just come back down in here and keep playing this thing. Okay. Alright, so next up is Intel. So look forward to get above 166.84 on Google and then retest this area here of 191.76. Alright, 75. But yeah, we're not totally in an uptrend, but we are looking bullish. Semi-bullish for now. Alright, that's Google. Next up is Intel. Intel got a little push up. It's got a little pullback coming in right now. We're looking for some support at around 22.70 up and then to continue higher. Got our moving average of 20 starting to roll up. We got our 5 SMA. We got our 6 SMA. Or 5 and then our 150. So we need a 150 to turn, go up. We need to get above this 25.85 area and check for support before continuing higher and retesting this $28 area where we gap down from. Alright, that's it on Intel. Next up is IWM iShares. The Russell iShares Russell. Anyway, it's in an uptrend. We got the 200 coming up, we got the 150 heading up, we got the 200 up, and we got our 5 SMA sitting there going up.